This is the Milo Sweet Podcast, where you'll learn to get unstuck. Start now. Conquer life's challenges by learning to do difficult. Find quick and clever ways to overcome. Wait, did you think life was going to be easy? Remember, all of your excuses are now dead to me. Let's get started. Guess what time it is? It's time for you to hit the subscribe button and find just 1% that you think will benefit from this. But if you're feeling a little like generous, right? Or you're super free with your time right now, probably doing nothing because you're listening to this. Well, maybe if you're doing something, actually just make yourself free right now. Hit subscribe. What are you waiting for? Hit it. Come on. Hit subscribe. So we're going to take another turn, and we're going to talk about how you grew from 0 to 1,000 Instagram followers. First off, I literally just created an Instagram like 2 weeks ago. And by I created, my friend helped me because I'm computer tech illiterate, right? Or ignorant, right? So I haven't been on social media for 8, maybe 9 years. And this is my big comeback because I've just been living in the real world, and it's different. It's definitely different. So the fact that you told me you even had that skill, I'm like, whoa, that's pretty impressive. Let's talk about that.
Thank you very much for what you had to say. I really feel like God helped me say it. So thank you for the compliments about that. For Instagram, it's like the new thing, even though it's been around forever. Which cracked me up. I actually have used Instagram because I felt like it was building and growing versus Facebook. I felt like you had to pay money to start being seen by people. And I felt like with Instagram, you could get more organic people to see you and to follow you. Plus the community there is super nice. And they are very supportive of each other. And there's a lot of businesses out there and a lot of, in my case, bookstagrammers, as we call ourselves, which are people who post about books. Yes, there's a whole hashtag and everything for it. So, yes.
Bookstagrammer. I've never heard of that. Yes. Noted.
And I think it creates this community of people who all come around what they love. And I think that the best way to use Instagram is to think about if you are a business person or if you're just someone who wants to become a speaker or a writer, thinking about what will my audience love? What will they enjoy hearing about? And the truth of the matter is, as harsh as it sounds, they don't want to hear about you unless you have something to say about them. So I know it's
So don't post about yourself, people.
I'm sorry. I think that the people who are successful about posting about themselves, like take these stylized photo shoots that are like in Paris or something. And you're like, wow, that's awesome. I'm not like that. So what I love though, is that I honestly started out going, okay, what can I post about and what do I love and what do I think my audience will love? And so I was drawn to books, and then I discovered, wow, there's this hashtag around books and it's called bookstagramming, and there's people who take pictures of books and talk about them, and wow, like I know this is so.
Where was this when I was in high school? I was such a private nerd. Like, I didn't tell people I love to read. It was like a secret that I read all night.
And so I felt like, wow, I found my people, and and I was like, it's not hard to take pictures of books. It's not hard to do that versus the lifestyle pictures. I felt like were more difficult because you have to get like a professional camera or something to make it look good versus with the book photos, I just had to have the right lighting, and then I could take a picture with my phone and upload it, and I would get all these people liking it with the right hashtags. So the first thing, I guess, tip number one is find what your audience loves on Instagram. So find your audience on Instagram. And the best way I say to do that is, honestly, Instagram has this search bar, and you put the hashtag sign in front of it and just start typing like Google. You type in, so you can type in
Oh.
journal planning, you can type in Christian speaking, you could type in blogger, and then click on that and then see what the other people are posting, those pictures, because it will come up and show you everybody with that hashtag, and the top 100 will show up there. And so then you
Oh.
do that research to figure out, okay, what are they posting about, and what hashtags are they using in addition to this one that I can use. And then that way you do that little bit of research, and it kind of forms how you can post on Instagram and what you could post about. So that's my number one tip. My second tip is always ask questions and try to get people to comment on your Instagram posts, because that's what gets you visibility, is people engaging with you. And being genuine, of course, is very important, that you're not just asking to ask, but you're just asking because you genuinely want to know. And so when people comment, I always make sure I either give them a like or I comment back. So I feel like there's a conversation, a two-way street going on. So that's how I've also tried to create a community with others, is making sure they feel like their opinions about, in my case, books, are heard. And it could be, something simple, like one I've gotten was, what's your favorite book, or what did you read in April? And so I've had people commenting what they read, and I'll comment, oh, that sounds interesting, or what genre is that in? So it's creating a conversation with my followers, who I do get. And speaking of followers, the way I was able to get those followers is because of the hashtags, the correct usage of hashtags.
Oh.
So hashtag research is very important, in addition to creating good photos, which you can do, as I said, with a good phone and the right lighting. Once you create those two things, you get a lot more followers that way. Then the third way I create, or is it fourth now? I'm thinking of the third one.
Yeah, I think it's the third or fourth. I think your second
Yes,
and third one kind of merged together.
yes, I think
So
they
this is
merged as
technically
well.
the
But
fourth
number
one.
4 then is, I also did what's called follow loops. So there are times where bookstagrammers would get online and say, hey, follow for follow type thing. And so then I would get people to follow me, and I would follow them if I was comfortable with it. And I felt like that was a good way to get generic followers. And then at least I could then further that relationship by going on their page and liking some of their posts and commenting on them. So that's number
Oh, okay.
4, is the follow loop. And then number 5 would be the commenting on other people's posts and being genuine about comments. And so this may sound like a lot of the people might be listening going, oh my goodness, that's so much work. And how do you come up with content and all that jazz? But honestly, I had to sit there and set a boundary, just like I do with writing, and say, okay, I am not doing Instagram at the dinner table. I am not doing Instagram all day. I'm not going to be checking that while I'm at work. I'm only going to do Instagram in the morning when I get up and post my post, whatever that might be, and in the evening before I go to bed and comment on things. And if I have time during a lunch break, I might comment on something. But for the most part, I try to stay off, because you can get stuck in the black hole, social media. And my goal with
Mm-hmm.
social media is not to get stuck in that black hole. My goal with social media is to let other people know about my books and help them see that I'm passionate about reading just like them. And so that was my goal from the beginning. And so that's how I always say that, even though you have to do this kind of initial upfront, really, I suggest that you only spend a certain amount of time on it. and I guess number 5 or number 6 at this point, is that I do create a quotes content calendar, and I do it weekly. So on Saturday or Sunday, I sit down, I take all my pictures for the week that I'm going to post, and I come up with the captions and the hashtags, and I copy and paste those in the morning so that it saves me time. So yeah, I do all of that ahead of
Oh.
time. And the good thing too is that there's also all sorts of things in the community on Instagram where they'll come up with challenges. In Bookstagram, it's called a Bookstagram challenge, where yes, there's it's awesome, isn't it? We have all this stuff. It's so cool. And they have a calendar literally for you where it tells you what you could post each day if you wanted to. And there's all sorts of stuff like that in the community. It doesn't matter what hashtag community you're doing. I bet you there's a blogger challenge out there for every month. This is what you could talk about every day. Like maybe just take a picture of like your favorite drink and talk about it, and then ask people what their favorite drink is. It's all create buzz and excitement and
Yes.
talking and community. And so that's how I plan it, and that's how I do it so that it doesn't consume my life. Although I am guilty of totally scrolling Instagram when I should be working, but that's how I try.
I'm only
Yes.
guilty of Instagram stalking. I have done that, and I didn't have an Instagram, and it's like, I don't know if you know Steph
Oh
Curry
yeah.
and his wife Ayesha Curry.
Yes.
They're like, he plays basketball. Yeah, so I like stalk their daughter, Riley. She's the cutest little thing. I'm like, dude, anytime like I see like a clip on like ESPN, and I'm like, oh no, it's Riley up on
Yeah.
Instagram again. But you get like 15 seconds. Like, so before you have to have a login. So that is how I spent my non-Instagram days. Now I have an account, but I'm too lazy to log into it. So I have to figure that out. I'm going to re-listen to this podcast and figure out, how can I put these tips into action in my life. I love how you made it super, super simple, though. It is a couple steps, but like everything that you gave, it really just plays out to what's the result and how can we be consistent. That's really it. And I think if we took that in all parts of our life, like in every part of our life, we just figured out, what is my desired result? Because what happens is we live life on default, and then we're upset when we get to that result because we didn't take any time to think about where we really want it to be. It's like getting in your car and just driving, and you're mad when you run out of gas. It's like you didn't really think that through. So I think I really love just the simplicity of how you took, like the simplicity of your advice, how you took something super complex and you broke it down, and you're like, hey, here's how you can really apply it to your life. Even if someone just does one tip, it actually is super helpful to be consistent in that. That's going to get you a lot further than just randomly approaching it and not figuring out what you're trying to accomplish. Now, we're going to end it up. Any last words, and then where can people find
No
you?
last words beyond amen, sister. Amen. Yes, totally agree with that. So true. I think that if I had only one last thing I could tell people, it would probably be get started today. Don't sit on your hands. Get going today. You can do it. And I feel so
Love it.
sad when people sit in the back seat instead of taking the driver's seat and going. So yeah, get started today. You can find me on Instagram at MH Elrich, ELRICH books, and then also at MHElrich, ELRICH.com. And if you step at my website and join my newsletter, you'll get a free short story collection, which will introduce you to my stories and works and just kind of introduce you more to what I do and who I am as well.
That is wonderful. Thank you so much, Marie, for joining us. All those little nuggets. You guys need to take notes out there. This is like you're back in school again. So thank you so much, Kim.
All right, that's another episode in the books. Hello? Hello? I said it's over. Why are you still listening? Like, seriously, the episode is over. If you're still listening right now, you know what? You're probably a chronic procrastinator. Guess what? I'm still listening too. Come on, for real, seriously. We gotta go do something productive. No, like for real. No, for real, for real. Okay, you can keep listening.